Hey friends, Chef Wainaina here. Welcome back. And if it's your first time here, welcome. Karibu sana. Happy to have you here. This channel, I share with you skills and ideas to make you a better cook in your own kitchen. So today we are making a whole fish tilapia, and in no time we are going to put a delicious mouth-watering dish on the table. But first off, we start with prepping the fish. We clean it thoroughly in a sink with cold running water. Take out all the fins and the gills. Then we'll put the fish into the cooler and we'll start off prepping for the marinade. The fish marinade, I have cumin, paprika, turmeric, cinnamon, a mix of fennel, cardamom, and cloves and coriander. For the other ingredients, we have ginger, garlic, lemons, soy sauce, and I'm also going to use a low-fat yogurt which acts as a tenderizer. To put the marinade together, we'll go ahead and chop everything. We'll chop ginger, garlic, and then what we are going to do with this, we are going to put them in the pesto and mortar and then press those and make into a paste. So the dish we are making today, I know sometimes fish tends to be a little challenging for some people, but I'm sure after this, you'll be able to tackle it and be able to make a dish out of it. It's not hard. So the key thing here is the marinade, which brings a lot of flavor to the fish, a lot of bold flavors into the fish. Tilapia is a fresh water fish, mostly sold in this country, either frozen or defrosted. It's definitely a classic dish in Kenya and most of African areas due to its abundance. So we finished chopping and cutting. We are zesting our lemons, and then we are going to put everything into a mortar and pesto and then make into a paste. So, and then this paste will be the basis for our marinade. So we've worked our paste. We are going to put it into a bowl, a small bowl. Add the rest of the ingredients, the soy sauce, the yogurt, and then the spices, and that will form the basis of our marinade. So as I said before, tilapia is very popular, but definitely if you're not a fan of tilapia, red snapper, striped bass, a lot of small fish, they will work very well for this recipe. Tilapia tends to be on the plain side. You know, it needs a lot of help when it comes to flavor. So you definitely, when you do a good marinade, you're going to impart a lot of flavors into the fish itself. It handles very well. It is lean, so definitely will need a lot of help. This is a dish too that you can definitely, when it is warming up, you can put it on a grill. But today we are going to roast it in the oven, and then we are going to make a bunch of other side dishes. We are going to make rice, we are going to make vegetables, and then we'll start a very delicious sauce to accompany the dish. We are being a little ambitious today, but I'm very sure that we are going to make out a very nice dish that will be so tempting to do in your own kitchen. So once we put everything in a bowl, we whisk it thoroughly. We make it into a very nice smooth paste. This is so impactful to the fish. It's going to make it just so delicious. What we are going to do, we'll pull out the fish from the cooler. It's been hanging in there. We'll cut it, make some slits, 3 slits on each side. And then, so these slates, what's going to happen is that they will absorb the flavors, the yogurt will tenderize it, and then it's just going to be so impacted by the flavors. So once we cut the slates, we are going to put the fish back into the plastic container, put in a good amount of the marinade. We are going to slather it. We are going to work it every cranny, every corner, every slit that we have made, so that all the marinade is spread and the fish is fully coated with the marinade. So once the fish is thoroughly coated with the marinade on all sides, making sure that every cranny gets the marinade, we are going to put it back into the cooler to marinate for about half an hour. So we used a half of the marinade. The rest of the marinade we are going to use on the fish as it roasts in the oven. In the meanwhile, I'll wash my hands and start the sauce. For my Swahili sauce, I have 2 white onions. I have half a lemon here. I have ginger and garlic mix. That's like a tablespoon total for both. I have 2 scallions or green onions. I have a spice mix here which has paprika, cumin, coriander, fennel, cardamom, cloves, all mixed in. This is the same spice that I used for the fish marinade. And then I have salt and pepper. I have some vegetable oil here. I have some soy sauce that I'm also going to add here. So this sauce reflects is a reflection of the marinade. So the flavors for these mirrors what is in the marinade, so that everything complements one another. And then the other thing that I'm going to add here will be coconut milk. So it's gonna have some coconut milk. So I'm going to prep these, cut the onions and all these, get this going. So we'll go ahead and finish up chopping and cutting our ingredients for the sauce before we start it. So this dish is popularly called samaki wakupaka in coast Mombasa, where I lived for a long time, and really got a big appreciation for the dishes around that area. So just remember, our fish is still in the cooler, is still marinating. So what we are doing here today is a multitasking. So we are making the sauce as we will start the sauce as the fish continues to marinate. When the fish is ready, we'll pull it out and put it in the oven. We have our onions ready. I have half a lemon that is from our spices, salt, pepper, this. I like to use this. I always like to save this. When I'm serving food, I just sprinkle them. So to start our sauce, we are going to put a small sauce pot on the pan, heat it up to high medium, add some canola. Once the canola is heated, we add our onions, and then we are going to continue sweating those onions as we season them with salt and pepper. Once the onions have really sweated up, we are going to add our spices. This is the same spice mix. Remember, we used in the marinade. So it's just going to add the flavors. We add our garlic and ginger, and then we are going to continue sweating this onion. So when you sweat the flavor just continue to come together. The spices, they will toast, release all the flavors. So this is the point in cooking where all those flavors just come in. So whatever liquid that you're going to add later, it's just going to absorb those flavors in them. So this is a very, very, very important point when you are cooking. So we add our soy sauce, and then we just continue toasting those flavors. So they just, especially the spices, just release the essential oils. And then we are going to add our coconut milk here. We are going to whisk it and then add some water, reseason it. Always be careful when you are cooking, and especially with soy. Soy is very salty, so you want to always be very careful. My rule of thumb is always under season the food, and then I can reseason it towards the end instead of adding so much salt in the beginning. Bring the sauce to a boil, put a lid and let it cook for about 15 minutes. After the 15 minutes, you'll take out the lid and transfer it either to a blender, or in this case I'm using an immersion blender. Blend it to a smooth consistency. You don't have to do this. You can even serve it chunky. What matters the most is the flavor. So I re-seasoned it, tasted for the flavor. So what I'm going to do, put it at the back and have it reduce. In the meanwhile, I put a heavy cast iron on the stove, turned it on to high, took out my fish from the cooler, and put it on the skillet. What I'm looking for here is to sear the fish. Meanwhile, I also have my oven turned on to 370. So as the fish sears, we are going to start our rice. I usually do 1 cup rice to 2 cups water, or sometimes I go slightly under. So for this particular one, I'm going to, on a small sauce pot, I'll add the rice, add the 2 cups water, just slightly less. I'll add a hint of salt, and I'm going to do just a slight hint of ginger and garlic add to it. So this one, we are going to start the rice as it goes. So remember, we have our sauce reducing at the back stove. Our fish is searing on the stove. And now we have our rice that we are going to start. So what we are doing, we have everything going on at the same time. So it's just all about, when you are cooking, it's all about timing. It's always very important. So when you know how to time everything, so that everything by the end of it comes all together. So we will bring the rice to a boil, cover it, reduce the heat to medium, and cook for 15 to 18 minutes. In the meanwhile, we are going to baste our fish a little bit more with the extra marinade that we had, and then this, the whole thing goes into the oven and is going to cook for about 15 minutes. So as our fish roasts in the oven, the next thing that we are going to do now, we are going to start our vegetable medley. I have cherry tomatoes, I have a zucchini, summer squash, and broccoli. We are going to chop all these together. And then after we chop everything together, what we are going to do, we are going to start the vegetable. This is a quick saute of vegetables. This doesn't take long. In the meanwhile, our fish will be roasting in the oven. It's going to roast for about 15 or so minutes. We will pull it out and then baste it a little bit more, put it back and continue roasting. And then the last thing we'll do is just pull it out when it is done. After all the chopping is done here, we put a small saute pan on the stove top, add some canola oil, heat it up to very, very high. And then we are going to add our zucchini and summer squash. We are going to splash it with some water and cover it. Though see, this makes the vegetables just to really steam up very quickly. So this is helping the dish to quicken up when you are cooking it. We remove the pan after adding the broccoli and the cherry tomatoes. We just heat it with a slight amount of our spices, so that the idea of tying up the dish still continues. So this one is done. So the water will evaporate, and then you are going to end up with that colorful looking at vegetables. That's actually where the word medley comes in, a mixture of vegetables of different colors cooked to different textures. So our veggie medley is done. We are going to season it, make sure that seasoning is perfect, it's on the spot. So in the meanwhile, we took out our fish, rebasted it again, and put it back in the oven to finish up cooking for about another 10 minutes. Our rice here is done. So what I've done, I added a little bit of turmeric in water just to give it some color. This is a very popular way of doing rice in Coast Mombasa. Our dish is coming together here. The fish is ready. I took it out from the oven. I basted it with some hint of a fresh marinade. I sprinkled some scallions on it. This gives it a burst of flavor. So the next thing we are going to do here is just to put it on the table, just to plate and get to enjoy what we've done. We are ready here. Our dish has come together. So what we are going to do, take some of those sauce, ladle it at the bottom of a wide plate, a good amount of that sauce, the vegetable medley, take a heaping spoon of your beautiful looking rice by now, take that beautiful fish, put it on the plate. The last thing you're going to do, which is optional, drizzle it with some olive oil. So this just gives it that flavor. It's so awesome. This is delicious. I will go ahead and taste this dish. The fish just flakes. It's just perfectly done. The other thing you can do on this, you can just pull the fish on the side, and then you have the bones separate. But this is amazing. Where I come from, this is hands-on, no spoons, no forks. You dig in with your hands and you enjoy it. This is awesome. I hope you like this dish, and it's something that you really want to try in your own kitchen. It's awesome. I know it's some work, but it's something you can put up and really have to enjoy. The thing that takes longer here is the sauce. Once you make the sauce and you make the marinade, the dish is just out there. It's awesome. I'm glad you had time to enjoy this and to watch it. Come back for more. Thank you.